So I'll get started while he's figuring out the tech. So my name is Emily Foote. Thank you for having me. I also want to thank the two meetups, which I think is very neat that they're combined tonight, the New Tech and Ed Tech, as well as thanking EDC. We were in their first cohort. We're hoping we're their 1 of 10. That makes it 8 for them. Oh, thank you so much. 1 second, sorry. Okay. And also, like a few other people, so this is really exciting to see how big the tech community has grown. We've been around just about 3.5 years, and it's really exciting to see the growth. And we're lucky to be part of it. So, ApprenNet is changing the way people learn online. We work with corporate trainers, we're an online learning platform, as well as professors in the education space. And typically, online learning relies quite heavily on video lectures. That can be passive. And I'm going to show you today how our platform is different. But to do that, I need you to, for a second, imagine that you are a new hire in a restaurant in town. So you're a new hire, and the day before you start your first day, you're given homework. You're asked to study the menu, as well as the core customer service principles. Then you come in the next day, and your manager says, okay, you're going to do a training before I let you hit the ground running. And here's what a typical training will look like. So there's no volume, but basically they're talking about the menu options and good customer service. And that's it. That's your training, besides your reading the night before. So you ready to hit the ground? Okay. So I'm going to tell you how we changed that and why we changed that. So there's 3 things that make up a really good training or classroom session. The ability to practice, to interact with your peers, and third, to be mentored. That's very hard to do online. Very easy to do face-to-face, but not scalable. This restaurant was pretty excited because they not only could get rid of their expensive face-to-face, but they could scale their learning. But the question is it effective? We don't think so, because the students don't practice, the learners, they don't engage with their peers, and they're not mentored. So we'll rewind your big training day. You still do your homework, and you come in the next day, and you log into ApprenNet. And as you'll see, there's 3 learning stages at the top. So they're practice, peer interactivity, and mentoring. And it works a little bit like a game. So you log on, and the first stage is the practice. So there's 2 parts here. You watch a real-world problem, and then you respond and upload your practice video. Doesn't look like the sound's working, so I'll explain what's going on. Oh, no.
Yes, hello. I'm going to make a reservation for a party of 6 this Thursday at 7 p.m. Yes, and while you're doing that, I have a quick question. One of the couples, actually the husband, is on a very restricted diet, and he doesn't eat red meat.
Okay, so I need to test 2 things. 1, do I know my menu knowledge? And 2, can I be nice to this woman when she calls Ruth Chris asking for no red meat? And so, this is Chrome. So if you're Chrome, you have to allow. Let me see. There you go. Allow the video. There I am. Okay. So I record my answer, I practice my skills, and submit it. And that's it. That's the first stage. So you got the practice checked off. Second, after you've done the first stage, you can't skip ahead. You engage with your peers. So let's assume there's 10 new hires at this restaurant. All of them did this, and now they're thrown in a bucket, and you're going to get a chance to review each other. So I'll watch him.
Absolutely. We offer a stuffed chicken. We also have our ham chops, a variety of fish, and we also offer vegetarian meals as well.
Okay, he was all right. So you give him his feedback, you can timestamp it, you submit it, another one pops up. Your instructor to your manager said, okay, there's 10 of you, I want you to review 2 before you can unlock the next stage. Finish your 2, you get to go to the next stage. Now, remember in the beginning when I said the typical training was a video? This is where we put our video. But the difference here is that they've practiced first, they've engaged with their peers, and our hypothesis is now they'll actually care about that video, rather than, oh, like this means nothing to me, I'm checking my phone, I'm not into it. Why do they care? Because they're juxtaposing, what did I do that the expert said, or what did I not do, so I can adapt later and improve my skills. So you watch the expert response. This one's long, I'll just give you a little.
Compare your response and your team members' responses with our expert's response.
Absolutely, we have other selections. Some of our different selections include we have some fresh fish.
It changes your attitude.
Well, you fast forward and the end tells you why what she did was good. It's a
The
great,
expert clearly communicated our
Sorry.
model options.
a great learning experience. So that's stage 1 of mentoring, is being able to see the master. That's where our name comes through, apprenticeship, the network of apprentices, got it. This is your master that you're learning from. But the second part of mentoring is feedback, which is also very difficult to scale 1-to-1. So I'll show you the way we do that. This final stage is called a recap. And there's 3 ways you can get feedback. One on this virtual bulletin board to everybody. And then 2, the manager can give feedback to a few people for everyone to learn from. And there's 2 ways there. They can tag somebody up like Annie. I want you to see Annie because she did X well. And this is the fun part. You can have a leaderboard. So you can show from the peer reviews who bubbled to the top. So it's a second motivator to really put effort in. 1, your friends are going to see you, so you're not going to make a fool of yourself. We've had over, I think, 30 or 40,000 users, and nobody's not taking it seriously because of the peer pressure. And then 2, the chance to be rewarded and recognized, which works quite well in the corporate space. The third way you can get feedback is directly. So let's pretend we're Maya. We go into our submission. We see our feedback. One of our peers gave us a 3. The class average was a 2.4. If an instructor or manager gave feedback, that'd be noted with a red dot. And then you can see any written feedback. So that, in a nutshell, is our platform. We provide tools for managers, trainers, professors to bring online learning to life and make it much more engaging than typical talking head lectures. And it's not only scalable, and it's actually really low cost, probably lower than it should be, but it's, sorry about me, it's very effective. And we've done research on that to show learning objectives. So we're very excited about the product. I'm excited for your questions, but before I do that, 2 things. It's not only used in restaurant training, it's an agnostic platform. We don't build the content, our clients do, or we partner with content providers. We've used it in restaurants. We're working with the largest retailer in the world to do pharmaceutical technician training. We're doing a pilot with a company down the street, which is probably Philly's biggest company, for customer service training. And what I'm really excited about, we also work with dozens of universities around the country, dozens of which are here. Westchester, Penn, Drexel, DeSales, University of the Sciences, so on and so forth. So we're very excited. We're excited to be part of the Philly community on the corporate training and in the education side. And my last pitch, this is purely for my ego. We curate the leading teaching and learning news every month, and then I write little blurbs about it, and we do it through MailChimp, so I can see if people are reading it, and it makes me feel really good about myself. So Carl, our CEO, tells me it's not a real indicator of business growth, but it does make me really happy. So if you go to our website, find the link for our newsletter, sign up, and tomorrow February is coming out, and it'll make me super happy to get a lot of numbers. So that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Last thing, we are looking for interns this summer, undergrad. So sales and marketing and or front-end developer designers. So if anybody has those skill sets, please talk to me after. I don't have any business cards. I'm not that good about thinking of those things, so it's Emily@ApprenNet.com. You can email or talk to me after. Thanks.
We have time for a couple questions.
Anyone? All right. This is great. I have a question.
Sure.
Is there any way to tinker with the structure? So, say we wanted to have 2 rounds of video review. Like they do the videos and they watch the master and they do another round.
Sure. So the way it works is you design a group. It's like a course page, and then you can see this has 8 learners in the group, and then you have individual exercises. So you can do one, and then you can create a second exercise. You can't do double stages within one exercise, but you can create a series. So we worked with the NSF to do a research project on middle school math teachers for a STEM education project. They would do one, then they do a revision, then they do exercise 2, then they would do a revision.
Can you tell me how ApprenNet makes money?
So he asked, can we tell him how ApprenNet makes money? Yes, we have a subscription model. So per person per year. It ranges from $20 a person per year to $50.
So how do you involve the communities such as the education communities? You mentioned universities and things of that nature. How do you get them on board? Do they sign up for something and it goes to them, or does it always go through an individual?
That's a good question. So the question was how do we get people on board, essentially, specifically in the education sector. Generally how that works in the college university is you have an early adopter, one professor who really is interested in technology, trying it, they share it, it grows, it becomes a school subscription. We have 2 ways you can pay. The professors can ask their students to pay like a textbook fee, it's $20, or the school can purchase a bundle. So it's pretty easy to get in. We have a really great onboarding from our tech teams all back there. They built an awesome onboarding program. That's a really slow sales cycle. So it takes 1 semester, 6 months for one professor, and then the second one another 6 months, and then the third one, that's 18 months, and that's a couple $1,000s, if that. So our second business model is we partner with learning solution companies. So the big retailers that we're working with, there's a company we're working with that does the content, who already has the relationships with them. They're embedding our technology into a larger solution and selling it for us.
Hi. Hello.
Sorry, hey, Elena, how are you?
So I'm totally sold on the pedagogical value of this because I believe it. However, I'm wondering if you have been able to collect any evidence that once you've been trained this way, then actually you are better trained. So when you go to that restaurant, the person that's gone through that training, when he actually starts his job, then he's a better employee.
Sure. So that's a great question. She asked if we have any evidence to support that the learning outcomes are better than watching a lecture. We did a small study. We want to do We did a small study. Sign up for the newsletter. And then if you want to see the evidence, we did a small efficacy study. specific with teacher training. So I was a Teach for America teacher and then taught in the kids' schools in Philly for a few years before doing this, and have a very big interest in teacher training. And we got a grant from NSF, National Science Foundation, to study our platform. One, from a user experience perspective with teachers, would they like it, would they do it? And two, does it actually work, like Elena asked. The study was small. It was 20 middle school teachers. We did not have a control group, but it was a very interesting study. We had researchers from Penn that Bobby helped us get through at Sea. And what it showed was that over time, they did a 3-month online course. We did a pre-test, post-test, that over time, their skills grew. And the measurement that we used was from the MET study, the Measure of Effective Teachers that came out of the Gates Foundation. They did that large study a few years ago. And so we used their rubrics and their measurement. And we actually had a higher growth level rate if you compare to theirs. So they had thousands of teachers and we had 20. So take it with a grain of salt. But we were excited with the data, and we're excited to do a larger longitudinal study once these big channel partners can fund it.
Great. Emily, thanks very much.
Thanks.